Somebody once told me the world's going to roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. Anybody could be an all-star, really. Dylan Bundy's proving that. He always had the potential, but he's finally cashing in on it. It's so exciting to see. Well done, Mr. Bundy. And that gives us an excuse to use the Dylan. Anytime we can use that clip, I'm a happy man. We'll talk about Mr. Bundy. We'll look at the closer report. Woo, man, we got troubles in paradise. Hector Neris, Anthony Bass, Ryan Presley. List goes on and on. It was not a good day. Injury concerns? Oh, Ronald Acuna's wrist. He didn't play yesterday. Is it serious? We'll talk about that. And if you listen to our new podcast, we have a new podcast, by the way, Rotofanatic.com's Morning Relay. You'll find yours truly, Matt Williams, Nathan Dockin, Brad Johnson, Jeff Zimmerman. All of our staff are readily available, and we do it every day for you to keep you up to date on everything you need to know in Major League Baseball. But on yesterday's pod, we talked about Zach Gallen, and Matt said, hey, you got to start Zach Gallen at Coors Field, even if it's reluctantly, because he's too good. And boy, did he really impress, even though the Diamondbacks totally blew that game after he pitched 7 innings of outstanding ball. So check that podcast out. You can also, don't forget, the Launch Angle pod comes out every Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. So you can find our fellas, Van and Jeff and Rob Silver, right here on Rotofanatic.com. So check out those pods. Stay tuned for the rest of what you need to know today. Rotofanatic.com's Quality Start begins now.
The King of the North!
Tuesday standout? That's a no-brainer. This gives me the opportunity to do what I love to do. I get to use my favorite clip to introduce this man as the King of the North for Tuesday night.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Bundy has finally done it. He's achieved the uber potential that so many saw in him as an Orioles prospect once upon a time. Last night he does it again. He's got 10 strikeouts, 1 walk. He gave up a couple of hard-hit balls that had decent expected batting averages on them to Matt Chapman and Matt Olson. But overall, the damage was completely negligible with 4 hits, 103 pitches, flawless, really. Really just an outstanding performance. Definitely the King of the North for Tuesday. Manny Machado hit a grand salami right here. Boom! Dead center, straight shot off Ross Stripling, who's been really solid to start the year. This was a grand salami for Machado, his 5th home run of the year. He had 2 hits on the night. The Padres are looking good, and Manny Machado's hitting the ball hard. He's still not providing the numbers that he did when he was at Camden Yards, and he probably never will. But that doesn't mean he does not have value in fantasy. Just depends when you drafted him or how you acquired him. And a shout out to the Buffalo Jays. This base hit by Travis Shaw to right field wins the game for the Jays, their first game ever at Sahlen Field. Don't forget, you can read our very own Crosby Spencer's ballpark factors for Sahlen Field, the Blue Jays' new home park, and the Texas Rangers' Globe Life Field. See how it's playing so far and what you can expect from these ballparks based on Crosby's data, which is top-notch.
He loves it. He loves it.
But that's not what I'm gonna do.
You know the drill. Another day, more teammates leaving other teammates behind. Trent Grisham, Rougned Odor, Eduardo Escobar really struggling. I called that one a while ago, so I'm going to take a victory lap, even though he's probably in misery this season. But what he did last year was just way over his head.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Popped him up on the infield. I got it. Whoa. Oh, no, it falls in.
Hector Neris had walked a couple of guys, given up a hit. All the runners were his responsibility, but that 2-out pop-up biff by Jane Segura, what is Hoskins doing? That's Hoskins' ball. He's got to take control, be assertive. They also ruled that a hit. How is that a hit? Segura also makes that silly face after he drops it. He looks around with the ball like, oh, I'm going to throw you out. I'm going to get you. Why? So dumb. He should have a look of shame. This is one of the worst defensive plays in MLB recent memory. And this has nothing to do with the fact that I have Hector Neris on my fantasy team. Nothing at all. As for everybody else in the pen on Tuesday, no coffee for many of the closers around Major League Baseball. Chaos incarnate. We already saw the fiasco in Philly, but then Jairo Diaz had to get bailed out by Old Man Bard, who got the save with one out. Anthony Bass gave up 3 earned runs on a home run as well, and Ryan Presley blew the save against the Giants, who got to him in the 9th to tie the game and then win it in extras. And Drew Pomeranz got another save for the Padres last night, while Rafael Montero picked up his 3rd save in the last 5 days. It's a crazy world out there, I tell you. Woo! There's a bunch of injuries around MLB like there always is, so let's whip around quickly to fill you in. Ronald Acuna was scheduled to start in Tuesday's game against the Yankees, but was a late scratch because of a wrist injury. This may have happened because he slid headfirst into a base recently, but did not feel it until he swung the bat yesterday. So keep an eye on this. It may not be a major issue, but it certainly warrants your attention. CJ Cron is officially on the IL with a knee sprain. Right here, this is where he injured it. It looked like the ball hit him in the face initially, and he was just kind of dazed, but it turns out he sprained a knee ligament here. He's officially on the IL, and the Tigers lose a huge bat in the middle of their order. CJ Cron was hitting the ball really well, had 4 home runs already, and was a rock-solid key component of this lineup. It's a big loss for the Tigers, and an even bigger loss for your fantasy team. Charlie Morton is on the IL. It's official now. He has a shoulder issue, and his timetable is uncertain at this time. He exited his start on Sunday in the 3rd inning with right shoulder inflammation. Kirby Yates is dealing with a little bit of back tightness, per his manager, Jace Tingler, though Tingler expressed optimism that he might be available in relief on Tuesday night. That did not end up being the case, as Yates is off to a tough start right now, 5 earned runs over 4 1/3, but he has looked better in his 2 recent outings. But Drew Pomeranz did get the save again last night, while Yates did not pitch. Finally, Madison Bumgarner is on the 10-day IL with a mid-back strain, after just 4 starts with the new club, the Diamondbacks. I was kind, and I'm showing you highlights from a decent outing against the Rangers, not the one where he got torched over the weekend. Unfortunately, Mad Bum just seems to not be the same guy he once was, and he says he's injured, and that's fair, but you have to wonder if you're ever going to get the production that you saw out of Mad Bum once upon a time. It's Wednesday. You're thinking, hey, Mike, who should I start today? What's Rotofanatic.com say about Masahiro Tanaka? Maybe Matthew Boyd? If you're looking at a DFS lineup or you're just looking at your own daily lineups, you got to get the information. And what you need to know about Masahiro Tanaka, who was hit in the head by a line drive by his own teammate, Giancarlo Stanton, one of the most powerful men in the history of Major League Baseball. He completely took out his own teammate during summer camp, not spring training, summer camp. It's a more relaxed vibe. Certainly, Tanaka did not feel relaxed after taking this hit, but fortunately, he's back. He's active. And now he's being relied on by the Yankees, who are a legitimate team. If you look at the numbers, he's upped his velocity, and he's using his 4-seamer more, and it's providing improved whiff numbers. His whiff percentage has doubled. It's very possible that he's made the changes that will make him go to that next level, maybe a step up from the tier he was at, which was more middle of the road, to maybe a top 25 starting pitcher. As far as Matt Boyd had a lot of hype coming into the season. There's been major struggles for him. His team, the Tigers, have flourished. I mean, they're way exceeding expectations. But it's a 60-game season, so anything can happen in a short amount of time. Problem with Matthew Boyd, though, is right-handed hitters. If you look at these numbers, Mr. Boyd is getting decimated by right-handed hitters. A 396, 464, 667 slash line with a 473 WOBA this season. That's not good. And the White Sox are going to stack their righties against Boyd today. So if you have White Sox hitters, that's great news. Then go for that. But as far as Boyd today against the White Sox, you might be suspect. It's a day game. It's a quick turnaround. Who knows what'll happen? But the numbers so far are indicating Matthew Boyd is not going to be the pitcher that some had hoped he would be this season. Here is your breakdown for today. We've got some bogus pitchers going, but we've also got great pitchers like Cookie Carrasco and Nate Pearson on the bump today. Let's see if the Orioles and Phillies can live up to the legacy of their bozo affair last night. I'll also be looking to see if Blake Snell can actually go 4 innings or more, and if Anibal Sanchez can bounce back from his horrendous last outing. And now, it is time for my favorite segment of the show. You know you're going to love it. This Day in Fantasy History. Yeah, we take the good with the bad here. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. How old is that reference? Wow, I don't know. Some of you might be watching and are like, what the hell is this guy doing? And for that, I apologize. But if you do remember the facts of life, it was a catchy tune, I gotta say. Underrated 80s sitcom. And there was a lot of 80s sitcoms. Anyways, August 12th is a day we look back and we say, hey, what happened on this day in fantasy history? Unfortunately, there's a negative one. August 12th, 1994, that's when the strike, the lockout, was finally written in stone. And the 1994 season was canceled. And it basically ended the Montreal Expos as we know it, unfortunately. They were having a great season. Man, they were killing it. I really liked that team, too. It was sad. And Tony Gwynn could have hit 400. So many wonderful things that we could have maybe looked back in our This Day in Fantasy History segment in 1994, but we never will. This date forward, there will be no 1994s in this show the rest of the season. But there are good things that happen. Bobby Jenks, Mr. Jenks. Jinxie the cat, remember him from Meet the Parents? But Meet the Parents is like one of the most uncomfortable movies ever. It's funny, but God, the first time I saw it, I was like squirming. I'm like, oh, what? Everything that could possibly go wrong is happening to this one guy. No breaks ever. Seems a bit unrealistic, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is Bobby Jenks did something special in 2007. You want to see what it is? Well, sure you do. Well, let's roll the tape. Well, not tape, it's digital video, but you know what I mean. Yeah, here we go. Diddle-oo, 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 diddle-oo. On this day in 2007, the great one, Bobby Jenks, 41 consecutive outs as a relief pitcher, tying a major league record. What an impressive feat by Bobby, who used to be a lights-out closer and definitely provided many a save for fantasy owners once upon a time. On August 12th, 2010, Casey McGahee got 9 consecutive hits, which set a new Brewers Club mark, breaking Ryan Braun's old record, but 3 shy of the all-time Major League record of 12. Still, McGahee provided fantasy value here and there as a streaming option and occasional wire-for-wire pickup. And just 2 short years ago, David Bodie does it! Bodie! No, not Point Break. David Bodie of the Chicago Cubs, a walk-off grand slam. That's as fun as it gets. Look how much fun that is. The season would actually end with a wild card loss to the Rockies. But on this time, in this moment, these guys had a ball, and a grand slam for your fantasy team on a Sunday night may have helped tremendously.